This is going to be an unboxing and review of the Logitech G920 racing wheel for Xbox One and PC. It retails for $3.99, usually on sale for $2.99, which is how I picked it up. And it comes in a brown outer box. Hang on a sec. The brown outer box had cut tape, and the circle sticker here looks to have two of them, so looks like this was returned at some point and not really new, so I'll probably send it back for that, but I can still try it out. Excuse me. Alright, so in the box should have the wheel, pedals, power cable, and then the cable connecting the wheel to the pedals, and that's it. Oh, and USB to the Xbox. It looks like that's attached to the wheel itself. The wheel has 900 degrees of rotation and uses Logitech standard gearing or gears for mechanical gears for the force feedback. Thrustmaster uses a belt-driven system that is supposed to be stronger. I don't know. I haven't used a racing wheel since the Mad Catz piece of junk on PS2. So I think what I'm going to do is unbox this now, and then do a couple of races in Forza, Forza 6, with a controller. And then do the same race again with the wheel after it's set up. It'll be my first time using a wheel like this, so we can see, you know, just what the difference is like for someone using it for the first time. Here's your power cables. Pedals, which quite a bit bigger base than I was expecting. I tried looking up the specifications for the pedal size before ordering, see if it would fit under this table right here, and don't know. Let's see. And it actually just fits. Actually, a small little table like this, you know, a C-shaped table, I think might actually be alright for this. Obviously, you know, chair and mount and everything would be better, but for someone just starting out, we'll see. Yeah, this brake pedal is quite difficult to press in. Gas, very easy. Clutch is kind of heavy, kind of in between. And I've seen people mention that there's a mod for the brake pedal to make it better, so maybe I'll look into that. There is, looks like Allen key wrenches here. There's screws to adjust the pedal position exactly how you want it. So you can put it closer or further from the gas. And here's the wheel itself. It's I don't know, it's leather wrapped, and honestly I was expecting a little bit higher quality leather than this. See if I can get a little closer for you. I don't know, there's wrinkles in the leather, and it's not the best feeling. I mean, it's better than if it was rubber or plastic, but for the $3.99 MSRP, I was honestly expecting a little bit better than that. So you have a couple of adjusters for the clamps are on the top. You got pedal shifters that are actually fairly stiff to use. They are metal. All the buttons feel fine. And then, so there's cable routing mechanisms down here as well. let's see, USB. Stick into the whatever that is. And then here's holes for, I assume, hard mounting to whatever kind of mount you might have. But I'm just going to be using these clamps on this table. Let me loosen them. Hopefully they retract enough to fit. And I was also expecting there to be rubber padding on the bottom, but I'm not seeing any. And well, it does not look like they will retract quite enough. So this table does have a lip. Let's see. Can I remove this piece? Alright, well, I'm going to pause here for a sec, look into the manual and see if I can remove these pieces right here, or if there's any way to make it come out further. So, I'll be right back. Okay, so those pieces do come off, just require a little bit more force than you would expect for something plastic. With that done, there we go, it'll just fit. And then, let's see, how do you tighten that? Alright, then you push the top part down, screw it in. Seems pretty good. So, nothing else in the box. Just maybe your, I don't know, what is the warranty information booklet. That's about it. So let me get this hooked up. I should be able to cut into Forza 6 laps next. Like I said, I'll do the controller first. Not the greatest Forza player, but I think I'm pretty decent. So I'll do maybe 3 laps, see what my best time is after 3, and then switch over to the wheel, and then do 3 laps with the wheel. And then again, this is first time using a wheel in probably 15 years, and even then it was just a crappy wheel, so should be pretty interesting to see what happens. Alright, so this video ended up running quite a bit longer than I expected. So what I'm going to do here is cut in the fastest lap that I did with the controller. Then I'll show some of the first early laps that were pretty bad with the wheel, and then maybe cut in some more pretty bad mess ups with the wheel, just, you know, for laughs. And then I'll end it with a couple of good laps with the wheel, and after those I'll be back with video of me using the wheel, giving some actual impressions of it. So alright, let's get first real lap with the controller put in now. Alright, so here we are using the wheel for the first time. It's about to be paused and show you that the assists are still the same that I was using with the controller. Basically just traction on, manual. Just being the first time using the wheel, I didn't want to add in the clutch just yet. So right off the start, when the wheel started to move on its own, that was kind of the first indication of where this was going. I wasn't expecting that, and therefore this first turn just did not go well at all. Also, you'll probably notice here at the start that some of my shifts run a little late. Those paddles are, quite stiff and require more pull than I thought, and took a little bit to get used to that as well. So, alright, I'll cut out commentary, play a few of these early laps where I was still learning how to use the wheel. And then I'll cut into a couple good laps, and then pick back up with video of me using the wheel and giving full impressions then. Alright, so we're just about to start lap 17, which was the fastest lap I did using the hood cam. coming up here on lap 20. Was my fastest lap overall using the wheel, but this time with the in-car view. Still didn't quite get what I managed with the controller, but it actually got pretty close. Alright, now we'll cut back to me, and I'll give you some impressions while using the wheel. Alright, so now that I've used this for, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes trying to get used to it, and finally got to where I can put in a decent lap time, let's talk about it. So it's far more aggressive. The steering wheel is far more aggressive than I would have expected. It will pull right out of your hands. It basically drastically changes the way the entire game is played. So with a controller, you know, I'll start braking right before the brake line turns red, and you know, usually it'll stop in time, usually it won't, or I mean sometimes it won't. With this, even if I put all this force on the brake pedal, it will not hit, at least on the bar on the screen, will not hit 100% brake. And I mean, I'm pushing it really hard, a couple hundred pounds of force probably, and I don't know, but it definitely makes the car brake harder in the game though. So like, you can be in the red before you start braking and still come out alright, whereas with the controller you can be 100% brake and that won't happen. Where this is definitely not as consistent as the controller, to me anyway, is in the tight little turns, like the corkscrew on this Laguna Seca track. It's just, it wants to pull just in completely, seemingly random directions. I'm sure it's not random, but it kind of feels that way. It doesn't feel like it's pulling in the direction that it should all the time. It makes, when you mess up, trying to catch the slide is basically impossible. I mean, look, when we mess up on this next turn, I'll let go and you can see. Let's see. Hang on. There. So now we're all the way left, even though I was turning right, and just, okay, it drove me into the pit, great. So, anyway, it's, brake pedal is definitely way too stiff, I think. The force feedback takes a lot of getting used to. I'm sure people have been using wheels forever, have no problem with this kind of stuff. Just personally never using one. I expect it to take, I don't know, maybe a half hour to get used to it, to get, you know, my lap times down. And so far I'm about 45 minutes in and I'm still not doing lap times as fast as I was doing with the controller. You see, I'm on lap 23 right now, and so far I've only done 2 or 3 laps without messing up. And I mean, by now you probably have already seen those in the video, so this will be cut in after the actual laps in this video. Let's see what else. the my right thumb, where I'm gripping it on the wheel, I think that area needs to be a little bit thicker. It's my thumb's getting cramps, and obviously this stand is far from ideal for mounting this, but even still, it's because of all the pressure you have to put on that brake pedal. It just keeps inching further and further away from me. So every lap or so I have to pause and move it closer. I've since put some sandals or something at the end to try and stop it. God damn. It's so yeah, it takes a long time to get used to. I'm not saying it's not as fast as a controller, or that the controller's faster. I'm just saying that it's, if you haven't used a wheel like this before, it can be a handful to get used to before you can get faster than you are with a controller, assuming you're decent with a controller anyway. Again, I'm far from an expert, but I think that I do pretty well. Usually my times at the end of a race are in the top 10%. Let's see if I can get a decent lap here. The other thing is I usually race bumper cam, and there I messed up already. God damn. So anyway, I usually race bumper cam with a controller, or hood cam, I'm sorry. And so that's what I was using at first with the wheel, and kind of got used to, once I was starting to get used to the wheel, then I switched to in-car view. And actually I think in-car view is easier with the wheel, just because you have a little more of the car to see the angle of the car better, whereas with the hood there's obviously less that you're seeing, so it's really hard to tell because the wheel will pull even before you're sliding out. So if you can see more of the vehicle, you can kind of tell a little bit better if you're actually sliding or not. I don't know if this is supposed to be pulling when it's not actually sliding the opposite direction. So like if I'm turning left and there's still traction, it hasn't broken into a slide, the wheel will start to pull right. And I don't know, things like that don't seem like they should be that way to me, but again, I haven't used a wheel, so I don't know. I think maybe a few days getting more used to this should definitely improve. As far as fun factor goes, aside from quite the workout, it definitely is more engaging and more fun to play than using the controller, even if you aren't doing as well as you would be. Still trying to post a better lap time, and can't really focus and talk at the same time, but I wanted to add this at the end just to show, just the wheel is far more aggressive than I expected, especially when people say that the Thrustmaster wheel has a lot more force feedback. I don't know if I would want that. I turned the setting actually for the force feedback down to 75%. And that's where I'm at right now. Even that seems, maybe a little aggressive, not as bad as it was at 100. So, I think the hardest part to get used to overall is that there is, obviously no feel in the pedals. So, with a controller that has the rumble in the triggers themselves, you get more of a instant feel of when traction's starting to be lost. With this, you can't tell until traction is already gone and then you're sideways, because that's when the wheel starts vibrating and turning the other way and whatnot. I wish there was a way they could put force feedback in the actual pedals so you could feel where traction's going to be lost. So let's give this one last lap. Alright, so like right here at the very beginning of Laguna Seca, that first straightaway before the first turn, the controller I can always go flat out without letting go. It took quite a while to get used to doing that with the wheel, because the wheel starts to pull right as you reach the top of that hill, and if you're not used to it, it definitely feels like you're going to slide even though you're not, and that's one of the areas I'm saying it's without force feedback in the pedals and with the wheel wanting to turn, whether you're sliding or not, it just makes it difficult to, at least for me anyway, to tell when the slide is actually going to occur and how to correct it. And then, consistency is a problem. I can do a turn perfectly fine 30 times, however many times in a row, and then come to it on another lap, and then all of a sudden, just like right now, there's all of a sudden it'll just want to spin out, and makes being consistent very difficult. And then recovering is really hard. So when you're turning against the friction of the wheel, you can feel the little gears inside. I assume that's where the Thrustmaster belt would be smoother, less chattery. I definitely hear the gears rubbing against each other, and you can definitely feel it as well. But, let's see. Here's that first turn again. Hard brake. Second. It also doesn't help that in order to record this with sound, I had to turn off my air conditioner, and it's probably like 90 or something outside, so I want to make this end this fairly soon to get my air back on. But I also want to give a in-depth first use review. Alright, so I'm only half a second behind my best time coming up on the corkscrew. Don't. Alright, lost another half second there. And I can tell you, it can be rather frustrating to be having a good run and then just all of a sudden getting screwed up towards the end. It's being 16 laps in, trying to get the perfect one and thinking you're on it, and then not being. Definitely a lot of yelling going on here. Alright, but I guess I'm gonna end this here. So, let's see. So even with slipper at the end, it moved quite a bit from where I started. That's the end of the review. I hope it was helpful for you.